The elves have come to fight a deadly battle in this epic 4 vs 4. If you guys are looking forward to this, be sure to go ahead and drop a like and a comment down below. Let me know you want to see more Rise of Mordor, aka the Dawnless Days, on the channel, because today we have a pretty crazy battle. As I said, this is a 4 vs 4, so the battle lines are stretched across this awesome custom map, and I'm excited to see how this one turns out. So over on the left flank, we do have an army from the lands of the men. So we have Arnor here, looking very nice indeed. A lot of Brelanders and other soldiers kind of rocking up and really getting stuck in. Some of their memorable units are definitely going to be the Dunedain Rangers, a classic. And we have these epic Arnorian two-handed swordsmen as well. That massive shield on their back, I guess, to protect them from some incoming sneaky orc arrows. But for the most part, they're going to be wielding that two-handed sword ferociously. Over on the right-hand side, or I guess second one in, we have another man faction. The Doamroths are moving up here. Lots of seaward swordsmen and also heavy infantry. And of course, it wouldn't be Doamroth without some elite swan knights that are currently positioned in the forest right now, hiding in the mist. And they've also got some elven cavalry supporting them. We've already seen the elves. They're looking very sturdy in the center. And then on the extreme right, we have the dwarves of Erebor and the Iron Hills. So these guys wielding them axes and hammers, ready to carve in some orc skulls. Over on the extreme other side of the battle map, we do have the Haradrim with their baby Mumakil moving up in the center. They are supported by Isengard and the Uruks that do go ahead and inhabit that, with the awesome looking light right there. That looks dope, with the glow of the mystical trees. In the center, they are supported by an army of Easterlings, and then on the extreme right flank, we do have the Dunlendings moving up as well. Isengard have brought their allies forward, and they're kicking off this battle with a pretty extreme cavalry push on this right-hand side. The champion Reavers, outfitted in all the glorious armors Isengard has to offer, making their way around this right flank. However, they're going to be swiftly met by the Knights of Imrahil. And yeah, these guys are some of the best cavalry in the game, so it's not really a unit you want to find yourself up against. You can see a lot of the cavalry being pushed kind of aggressively over here. And oh, this could be kind of scary. The Dunherd Marauders might get caught out here if they want to go super deep for this. But that would be kind of scary to do, because then it means infantry could quite easily kind of make their way in and kind of cut this off quite quickly. Over on the left-hand side as well, we are getting a pretty hefty push by the baby Mumakil, and they're going to be clearing out this forest where we do have a bunch of spearmen hiding in right now. This is going to be not good whatsoever. We have the Noldrin horses moving out and engaging, but this is really scary. We're going to get harassed down by the Dunlending javelins, but again, the cavalry could just smash into these guys. Oh my god. Why did you guys not go in for that? You could have quickly routed it. This is light cavalry. They need to be really careful with the elephants, and I think that's one of the reasons why they are trying to avoid this. However, the light cavalry of Dunland are going to be smashing into them, basically for the whole purpose of getting these elephants in. Elephants are really, really effective when it comes to killing cavalry. It's kind of what they're designed to do. Whereas, yeah, that's bad as well. Engaging these guys, yes, you're sacrificing this cavalry, but now they're going to pull out, take some casualties, and now you're going to be bringing in the Serpent Guard, the elite Haradrim shock cavalry, and now they're engaged with the elephants as well. This is going to be scary, but then again, the elves are such an elite force that maybe they can kind of wield decent power in this. I would assume that this cavalry gets slaughtered, especially now that they've been hit by the Haradrim and more skirmisher cavalry going around. We have some of the, some more Haradrim cavalry making their way around. So this is really bad for the elves. Losing this cavalry on the flank right away is super bad. Over on the other side, though, we do have more of a positive cavalry engagement here as the Arnorian and Doamroth Knights engage against the Dunlendings. They are under a bit of heavy missile fire as more and more arrows come off. Basically, this has just been a screen to get the infantry, and now Arnor are charging in with full force, smashing into the ranks. And that's going to be a scary fight right there. Arrow fire flying overhead, really trying to pin down this cavalry and actually killing a handful of horses. But as I said, the main thing was just to basically scream for the shock infantry, get these units in, and the Arnorian Swordmasters will go to town. A lot of the arrow fire also focusing down the Blood Avengers. And as you guys can see, these are brave soldiers of Dunland. Very scary indeed. The front lines over in the center. Lions have now engaged as the dwarves charge forward. They are met by iron and steel of the Uruk-hai. And the Uruk-hai have set themselves up in a pretty gnarly formation right now. Pikes behind, slashing forward, kind of almost going for that nice shock and pike feel to it. The dwarves are bringing up some of their own pikes, you can see just off in the distance right there. If we go down the battle line, slow up the speed, you guys can see Uruk-hai fighting toe-to-toe with the dwarves. Very nicely, some of the dwarven pikemen. Now, the dwarven pikemen are, of course, going to be much higher quality than the Uruk-hai pikes. Oh, I think there's even some berserkers in there. Yeah, some berserkers in here. Oh, and the Napatoon throwers coming in. When I say Napatoon, they're more like the bomb throwers, using that black powder magic. And that's going to be scary. That's such an elite unit as well. The Dragon Slayers going to be struggling all the crossbow fire immediately as Aragorn screams, bring it down, Legolas. But Legolas has failed as of yet. Another volley about to come in from his white hands. Grenades. There you go, another little volley right there. And all right into the side of the hunters. Oh my god, and this unit is getting decimated right now by them grenadiers, up to 79 kills already. That is scary, and that's going to really shock the reinforcement line. And as you guys can see, the dwarves are looking a little bit scary, especially on that right flank. The elven cavalry got taken down. I have no idea why these spearmen didn't come and support the cavalry. Now they're pulling out. That would have been the best opportunity to move in and kind of deal with these guys. The spearmen would struggle with the elephants a little bit, but not as much as infantry. And they could have kind of really turned the tide with the serpent guard. But yeah, as you guys can see, yeah, that cavalry really got destroyed. And now we have cavalry roaming in the back. The light cavalry of Dunland getting stuck in right now, hunting down some dwarven crossbowmen. That is not good, and they're immediately moving over, going to be taking a volley as they get stuck in. Are they? Oh no, they've stopped. Oh no, you need to be charging. That delay is going to cost them many lives, but still able to get that charge in, which is nice. The destruction, the White Hand Grenadiers. And this is what's also crazy about this cavalry charge right here. The fact that they've been able to get this cavalry charge in here is stopping all the crossbow fire on these White Hand Grenadiers. And the dwarves are broken. I don't say this often, but the dwarves are being surrounded and slaughtered by their hundreds right now. They'll fight to the end, as dwarves do, but not good whatsoever. And this flank, I think, is going to crumble. You can already start to see the reinforcements of the Haradrim and the Uruk-hai. They're like, yeah, this battle is won. The dwarfs are done for. We're going to start moving over and winning over other positions. We haven't really checked in on the elves too much. And you can see the elves are fighting against the Eastlings, trying their best. As lines move up and clash some of the Seaward Smiths. What are these guys called? Sorry, these are the shipwright nobles or Seaward. That is the Darmroth infantry. They're pushing up, but they're engaged against elite Easterling shock infantry and them halberds. And if you're not able to find a gap in there to really like pin these guys down, you're going to be struggling. They are doing a great job though of positioning basically a lot of their infantry on these weaker positions in the line, because the problem is with the elves is that they struggle with, you know, enveloping and outflanking the enemy because they are such a elite bubble of infantry. It becomes quite hard for them to get around them flanks. They just don't have the soldiers to do it compared to something like Mordor or some of the larger man factions. You know, they just can't kind of exploit these gaps. So really, their goal is to punch through a part of the line and then kind of envelop from there. But they're going to be up against it because reinforcements are arriving here. Look at that, all the archers and also extra reinforcements from the right flank are now coming in, and that's going to be super scary. You can already start to see some of the Noldrin archers being attacked pretty heavily by the Warlords of Rune, who are a super scary shock infantry. And the arrow fire coming in, trying to kill the Noldrin noble general. However, I say that Dunland on this right-hand side has been smashed, and I think that's probably down to the fact that they really kind of committed a lot of their cavalry over to that left-hand side, and this right flank was basically left to die. They've got 2v1'd, whereas, you know, the Dwarven player got 2v1'd over on this side. And oh, here we go. The Dwarven Spearmen are now engaged. As you can see, they are definitely struggling with the baby Moomer kill. They're up to a lot of kills. Yeah, and they are starting to lose a couple elephants now. But yeah, these dwarves needed to move in with that cavalry fight in the hope that they could kind of turn the tide and take out a large portion of the Haradrim cavalry. and then maybe just run away from the baby Mumakil. Cavalry causing mayhem in these routing units. The elves are falling back as best as they can. Nice little charge there by the Vagear Lancers, or Varir Lancers. However, they are going to be warned off by the Arnorian Knights, who now come flying in, looking to support their ally. And now it is just a time of reforming. Hold the line, prepare yourselves. But the forces of evil are looking very, very strong in this battle. I am not going to lie. They look really, really strong. Indeed. But Doamroth infantry, so the Knights of Imrahil, really getting themselves stuck in. And lots of more infantry are moving around, coming into this position and getting ready to hold the line. Right now, the Halberds having a pretty good time with it. Another soldier does fall right there. But as you guys can see, we do have 86 kills onto these Loke Rim Halberds, which is pretty decent. But cavalry coming around. Oh, this would be a great time to take down these Warlords of Ruin with the cavalry. I think it's exactly what we are seeing. The Arnorian Knights moving in, slicing down the enemy. The horses over here looking to cause some mayhem. And yeah, this is what's always so fun when the armies are reforming. Like, this generally happens in a lot of the 4v4s. One flank wins on one side, and the other flank wins on the other side. And then we have this big kind of rush to reform as quickly as possible and prepare yourselves. I mean, for the most part, it's looking very good for the forces of evil. The good guys are moving up to try and take this hill and kind of hold the forest line, which is good. There is still a lot of arrows left though, and that's going to be big. Dunham Ranger, Dunedain Rangers, and we also have the Marksmen of Daamroth. That's going to be pretty solid, but let's jump ahead now until the battle lines are a little bit more stable. Okay, the left flank has engaged. It's kind of surprising to see that the Brelanders have made their way over to this left-hand flank, kind of deciding to initiate the combat, where their allies are really pushing, almost leaving these guys to their fate, and it's going to be a hard fight. They have, like, archers, but there's a lot of good shock infantry here that are moving up. The archers are going to really kind of come down heavy on the Loke Rim Halberds, but is that going to be enough? I am not sure. And then these forces are really positioned. And honestly, I think if they're going to commit as much as they have on this side, they just need to get stuck in and try and overwhelm this flank, because I believe the Arnorians are not going to hold this side without support, and they just don't really have it. You can see the difference in quality in the armors, and it's, you know, as much as these soldiers are fighting to the bitter end, they just don't have that quality really stuck in compared to the elite units that are left for the Easterlings and the Haradrim that are positioned on this flank. And you can see the armies off in the distance. You guys know that I always love when you get to see kind of just troops moving. It really gives the feel of the scale of the battle. And the arrows kind of flinging from side to side. And it's going to be interesting. I know there's a lot of like kind of dismay towards the Amazon Lord of the Rings series. But it's going to be interesting at least, you know, regardless of the story and the acting. It's going to be interesting to see at least how the battles are formed up. Because, it might have some bit of salvage if the battles are at least decent even. Even if the show sucks, we get some cool cinematic battles. At least we'll get something from them shows. But hey, I'm going in with an open mind. I think everybody else should as well, because who knows? If it sucks, it sucks. If it's good, then hell yeah. And now we have the Men of Daamroth really engaging against the battle lines, using this awesome shock formation. Gives a little bit of boosted charge damage. However, this flank is looking scary. A nice little break there. I mean, that's one of the things that this cavalry, the good guys do have in their side is the cavalry. However, taking that Napatoon volley is going to be deadly. And look at these guys, over 198 kills. You really need more. You need these missiles hammering them as quickly as possible. Surprisingly as well, somehow I underestimated Arnor. They are doing a good job. However, as soon as these spearmen and the soldiers in the forest break, that's going to be scary. Unfortunately, this is just light cavalry coming in. So it's just champion reavers. Yeah, if you get these guys around here, that'll kind of probably be enough to break Bree. And I think the flanks will just crumble. But we have cavalry over on this side, finally able to silence the Naphtune throwers. Nice, that's going to be a good little charge right there, and I'm sure the Knights of Dainroth are happy that they've finally been able to engage. I say that when the White-Hand Stormers come in, and they're like, no, we have these huge shields, you will back off cavalry, we will take the casualties so that these Naphtune throwers can turn around and unleash their grenades. And, you know, this is a good trade. Cutting down your opponent's missiles and their cavalry is so important. And now the baby Mumakil have now arrived. I think they've done a long walk. They've been fighting over there for so long and arriving just in the nick of time. These archers need to start hammering. You can see the fire arrows coming in, looking to break the elephants, and they do go down quite quickly. And that's why it was so lucky that they were able to position them on this right flank, because they were able to really keep them away from a lot of these missiles, and the dwarves had too much else to worry about to really deal with them. And as we go down to the other side, the fight in the forest is raging on. And the shock infantry is able to, like, really engage. Oh, and they've also managed to surround the unit of Breland infantry. That is not good. Sandwiched between a rock and a hard place. And also some floating. Oh, that's a bit ominous right there. Look at that. Oh, as these guys just fade out. Maybe Aragon will turn up with the army of the dead. You'd always rely on them. Unfortunately as well, you can see a lot of these units are being engaged with still ammunition left in their quivers. They just don't have the capacity as the Black Numenorians now engage. They're the guys with the big two-handed swords you guys can see in front of you. I don't know, I feel like this is a bit of a losing battle now. Only 5 minutes left in the engagement. Numbers are not looking good. This is 2,600 left, and that number is dropping rapidly for the good guys, and over 4,000 for the Forces of Evil. Granted, the Forces of Evil generally have more soldiers, and the cavalry is still able to get a nice little charge up here. Again, finish off more of the Naphtune throwers. But yeah, I just do not see it. The center has now broken up, and that's going to enable them to really start kind of carving in, focusing down these archers, and just dealing with the other units that are now around. To be fair, though, the Bane of the Steppe are running low on men and getting shot in the back. That's going to kill a lot of horses. But I still, even with generals going down, as you guys see, another general has just been slain. Even with the generals being taken down, I can't see them really coming back from this, especially now all these big breaks are coming in. That's going to free up a lot of soldiers over on this right-hand side. And even this exhausted infantry just have to push in now, surround the Arnorians. The cavalry is in the back now, wrapping up these Dunedain and other forms of archers. More cavalry being positioned over. The infantry are throwing themselves forward right now in full force, looking to go ahead and deal with these guys. Look at them just charge onto glory. Yeah, smashing into these marksmen of Dainroth. They were able to unleash their quivers, but only 80 kills is not too great. More missiles being brought around. However, I say that Bree have really kind of stepped up their game in this fight. They're holding, but Dunedain are decapitating Easterlings left, right, and center. Over on this side, the Black Numenorians, you know, kind of hammering into the front lines, but they are refusing to give up. And they will take down as many of these evil men as possible. But with the pressure of the shock infantry on one flank, this massive death ball getting ready to arrive on the right-hand side. And then, of course, we have all these reinforcements. Yeah, this battle is over, but what a crazy engagement. Really like seeing these 4v4s of interesting battles. I especially love seeing scenarios as well, so if anybody wants to go ahead and create some cool scenario engagements, always go ahead and send them in to me. I'm happy. I don't do enough Rise of Mordor nowadays, and I'm always happy to go ahead and revisit it. As long as we get good likes and comments, that's really all that matters. I don't necessarily mind too much about views, but as long as the likes are there, I'm happy to do more of these. And there you go. The forces of good are holding to the bitter end and actually routing a handful of soldiers, but there is just too many soldiers left. Over 3,000 of them, or just under 3,000, I should say. And that is going to be all she wrote for the last alliance of men, dwarves, and elves. And unfortunately, yeah, they did not fare too well. But they were a valiant fight. They really did. It was just, yeah, that right flank really got crushed. But dwarves just did not have enough support and were able to get smashed in. And generally, putting the dwarves and the elves together on one flank is always going to be a little bit tricky, because they have the least men in their units and they can really get surrounded. And there you go. You guys can take a look at the kills if you want to kind of pause it and just basically see who racked up the most. It's really a shame Attila doesn't have like a kill like screen like it does in the older games. That was always really, really cool. But you guys go, if you take a look at some nice kills on some of the shock infantry, and the baby Muma kill used pretty goddamn well. So if you guys enjoy this, be sure to drop a like and a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.